Hey guys, how's it going? It's Schleich Horse Lover 200 here again, and today I'm going to be repainting this Schleich Western Rider, and I thought I'd make a tutorial on how I do it. So the only reason I'm repainting her is because I have another girl exactly like her, and it's just more fun if they're a little different instead of having two exactly the same. So if this is like your first time repainting or one of your first, I do recommend that you have two of the same. That way, if things don't go as you planned or it doesn't turn out exactly right, you have another one. So for materials, of course, you're going to need the model you're repainting. And so I have this acrylic paint. I'm going to be painting her shirt purple. So I'm using this purple acrylic paint. This is the brand. This paint is actually really old, but it's still good. But if you're buying paint, Walmart has a pretty big selection of acrylic paint, and they're really cheap, and they're also pretty good. Like, they work really good for repainting Schleich. So that's what I usually use. And I also have some glitter glue. So my plan is I'm going to paint her shirt purple, and then I thought I'd do some like details with glitter maybe. So that'll be fun. And I got this rainbow and this pink and purple. So we'll just see what I'm going to do, whatever I think will look best. I'm not sure yet. And then I have this paintbrush, which is kind of big, so I probably won't be using it. And then I have this really small one, which will be what I probably use the most. It's a bit old, and I need to buy a new one, but I keep forgetting every time I go to the craft store. So I'm just going to make do with it, but it's kind of all frayed apart at the end, but it'll be fine. And I also have a toothpick in case I need to reach in anywhere with some paint. I don't know if I'll need it or not. And I also have a paper towel and this little cup of water for rinsing out brushes, and the paper towels just to dry them off. And then I have some paint sealer for when we're all done. This is the brand. This is gloss, but if you're going to buy some, I would recommend matte. That way, her shirt will just be matte, and I think that would look best. But I only have gloss right now, so that's what I'm going to be using. All right, so we are ready to begin. So I just washed her off and dried her really good because she was a bit dusty and just dirty, and it's best if she's clean when we start painting. So I'm going to get my paint and shake it up really good. Hopefully this paint is still good. There we go. It's a bit thick, but it'll be fine. Also, before you start getting paint out, you might want to put something down on your table, like newspaper or paper towels or something. I'm not going to because this is my craft table and it already got paint on it, and I'm actually not as messy as I used to be. So it's going to be fine. But I got my little brush here, and I'm going to get my rider and basically just start painting her shirt. I'm going to be really careful around the edges, of course, go really slow. And I probably won't do all of it on camera because that's difficult, and I want to do a good job, so I probably will only do some of it on camera. But I'm just going to take a little bit of the purple paint on the very end. And this is always the part where you can start to second guess, but I know this is going to look good, so. And just do one coat, one thin layer. It's okay if some of the red is still showing through. This is just our first coat of paint. Okay, so here's the first coat, and there's definitely some bits of red still showing through, but that's alright. Like I said, it's the first coat, and the basic idea is just get her shirt covered in purple, and we're just going to let her dry, and then we'll go in for the second coat, and make sure you rinse out your brush. That way the paint doesn't dry in there, because that's how my brush got ruined in the first place. I didn't rinse it out, and the paint dried in it. It's been about a half an hour, and her shirt is dry enough to put on the second coat. So here we go, and I'm just going to do my best to make all the brush lines nice and smooth and keep it clean, and go around her belt and stuff really good and cover up all the red. So the second coat is all applied. It looks really good. I'm only going to do 2 coats because it seems like that's all she needs. So while she's drying, I'm going to very carefully paint her gloves black because they're kind of nicked up right now. The paint's starting to wear off a little bit. And plus, the white gloves, they kind of remind me of dressage. I don't know why, but she's a barrel racer. So I'm going to paint them black. And yeah, so that's what I'm going to do next. Very carefully because like I said, she is still wet. Alright, I'm going to do the rest off camera because it's a bit difficult to do while filming. So here she is. So this glove here was definitely the hardest one to paint because she has her hand resting on her chaps. And I got a little bit of the black paint on her chap, but I was able to take a tiny piece of paper towel and I just wetted it a little bit and kind of wiped it away. So it worked pretty good and I'm pretty happy with it. So now we're just going to let her dry again. Now I'm going to use some of this glitter glue and I'm going to put some on this paper plate. And my plan is to put glitter like around her collar where that little bit of design is and on the back. So we'll see how it goes. I think it's going to look really good. Hopefully it does. I'm very happy with how the glitter looks. Like, I am super happy with how this turned out. Let me get focused. I really like how the glitter looks. So this is going to take a while to dry. I've used this glitter glue before and it usually takes at least a day to dry. So I'm going to have to let that dry before we can put on the sealer. So I'll be back tomorrow when she's dry. It is now the next day and everything is dry, and I know I said this in the last clip, but I am so happy with how this is looking. She actually kind of looks like me because my barrel racing color is purple and I have brown hair, and yeah, she does almost look like me. But anyways, so yesterday my mom said I should also add some glitter on like her cuffs here, so I did that, and she also said that I should paint her chaps like a darker brown. So I'm gonna do that now because like we got the black gloves and the dark purple shirt, and I think darker brown chaps will look better. So I'm gonna be using this color of brown, a little darker. So that's what I'm gonna do now. Ugh. Come on, there. Ooh, this is not a good color brown. You know what? It darkens up when it dries. I got both of her legs painted, and I will be doing a second coat, and I really hope this brown darkens up when it dries. It should, but I hope it does because it is still pretty light, and this is the only brown I have. So it's just going to have to work. And now I got to paint this little strap that goes across the front. And I'm going to try to use my toothpick and put a little paint on the end of my toothpick and try to paint that. Because my brush is trash. It's a mess. So I'm going to see if this works. So here we have it. It was actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Just dip a little bit of paint on the end of your toothpick and drag it across, and yeah, really easy. So it looks nice, and while her chaps are drying, I'm going to paint her boots now. So painting her boots was not in the original plan, but I think I'm going to because they're kind of worn, and I think I'm going to paint them black to match her gloves. So we'll see how that looks. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do now. See if she can stand on her head to dry. Okay, that'll work. Do not bump the table. It's been about 15 minutes, and now I'm going to put the second coat of paint on her chaps. So coat 2 is on, and it's almost dry. Not quite there, but I'm going to move on because I can, and my toast just popped up. But anyway, I'll finish this clip. So I'm going to move on. I'm going to paint her hat black. So I've been kind of debating on this, but I think it's going to look really good because she has black boots, black gloves, everything's kind of dark. So I'm going to paint her hat black, and I think it's going to look great. But first, I'm going to go butter my toast. I had to put 2 coats of paint on her hat, but I really like how it's looking. And now I'm gonna do a coat of this paint sealer on everything, everywhere that I've painted. I'm gonna put this paint sealer, and I'm just gonna do a nice thin little coat of this and try to make it all nice and smooth. That way it looks good and the paint won't nick off. All right, so the sealer is on, so she's all dry. It actually dries pretty quickly, so when you're putting on your sealer, don't leave any big blobs of sealer. You got to get it smoothed out fairly fast because it does dry quickly. But anyways, she is all done, and I am very happy with our end result. I think she looks very nice, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys!